it's all been LinkedIn. My current job, my previous job, any of the freelancing opportunities. Love Watch House. Fabrique in Chelsea on King's Road is the one to go to. I absolutely hate AI comments. When you're kind of like the first and only full-time hire, you're really not tied to your job title.
Hey London Business Babe. This community is built for us and by us to ungatekeep your next move and life in the city. If you never want to miss out, subscribe to the Substack where episodes will land straight in your inbox. Plus, every other Monday, you'll get a chance to feature on the show by shouting yourself out in the Manifest Monday email. You never know who's listening. Details in the show notes. Now, grab a cup of coffee or your favourite beverage and let's get into today's interview. Hello and welcome to Coffee Oysters, the London Business Babe podcast, where we get you together with business tips that actually work and let you know where it's worth tapping your oyster around London. My name is Frances Adair Matthews. I'm a certified Notion consultant and founder of the Notion Bar, where I get my clients together with personalized systems. And so today I'm super excited to introduce actually another newly Notion ambassador, Kamya Marwah, who is a top 1% LinkedIn creator breaking down campaigns, tech, and strategies. Also, the marketing and content manager for an early stage startup, Jelly. And I should basically just say, like, the carousel queen at this point.
I think, firstly, thank you for having me. But secondly, that title, I think I would be so honored given how much time I spend making my carousel. So I think I need to change my name.
Yeah, they're so good. I see people do the carousels and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing all of that. They're so good and so useful and I eat them up,
Yeah.
but so much work, like you said.
100%. Yeah.
We'll go into tools later, and we can dig into what you actually do to get yourself
Yeah.
set up and push out all of this content. But I'm just so excited to have you here. I feel like marketing and personal branding and storytelling is kind of all of the rage at the moment, and you do it for both yourself
Yeah.
and your startup that you work for. Did you always want to be a marketer? Like, how did you get here?
Oh, I think we're gonna have to rewind back into like 2020 when I actually had to
Let's do
take a
it.
gap year. I couldn't move to the UK because of course lockdown. I got to launch my own art small business, and I used to create a lot of art, so mandalas, resin, fluid art, and post it on Instagram. And I confused virality on social media with actual relevance, and that I would be able to sell them. So when I decided to start selling them, I got zero orders for the first 6 months. And it's like, no, that's not me. I still have 6 months before I have to move to the UK. I'm going to do competitor research, market research, do everything it takes in me to even sell one artwork. Till date, I've sold 800 customized artworks. And that just meant like, yes, I know how to do marketing. I took on more marketing internships to kind of finesse those skills in professional settings for different industries and brands. But I think that was kind of like my first step into the door.
And so you fell in love with marketing and then you came to the UK. Were you coming for university or what was the reason for like moving here?
I came to do my undergrad. So I studied information management for business at UCL. It's basically IT and business and basically it's like 3 years of toolkit and how to become an entrepreneur. So when I did the degree, everyone was either getting jobs at a big four or a bank or kind of like a really big consumer company. I have not gotten anything. So I'm just going to put myself out there and I'm going to start posting on LinkedIn because why not? Shoot your shots, right? I did that. And that's how I basically fell into the world of personal branding, got my first job, was made redundant from my first job at the 6 month mark, but then also got my second job, which is my current job. So yeah, that's how I'm here.
I've heard so many stories like that in the current job market where
Yeah.
it's like people are not getting hired from the traditional job applications anymore.
Yeah.
It's because one found them on LinkedIn, or I literally just had a sales call with someone who found me from a really terrible TikTok. Like, you really just do need to put yourself out
Yeah.
there. And like, did you have any like comments from your friends who were like maybe not doing the personal branding route, who were like kind of just like, oh my gosh, I'm applying for jobs, I'm applying for jobs. Like, What was that? Were you or were other people around you also like putting themselves out there on LinkedIn?
I think from my cohort till date, I'm the only one who has become a LinkedIn influencer, as people like to call me.
Okay.
I feel like it's a bit of a good and a bad because if people don't know me personally, they think like, oh, what is she on about? Why is she being so like cringy? Why is she putting herself out there? But then versus the
Mhm,
people who know me, they kind of know and they always knew that I like to create content because I've been creating on Instagram for quite a while, as I said. But LinkedIn was new for
mhm,
me. So it was like some of them were pushing me to like go for it, take the leap. Some of them were like, some of them just
mhm.
didn't support me. And then I knew you aren't the right people to be around then. Because if you don't want to support me being crazy, then what's the point?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, who cares? Got to embrace the cringe, right? Like it's
Yeah.
only going to land you opportunities. Like you're part of so many ambassador programs. We'll talk about that in a second, but
Yep.
it's only opened doors for you, hasn't it?
100%.
Really.
Yep.
And so what made you want to join a startup as well over a more like traditional company? Because you were the solo marketing person when you joined Jelly, correct?
I think it was definitely in second year of uni. Everyone basically had a job, had some sort of even an internship. And I didn't even manage to land an internship. And I really didn't know if it was me or if it was just the entire like market scenario. But I basically worked super closely with the career consultant at UCL, and they put me in touch with a food tech startup, and I landed an internship there. And I think I quite loved the whole like fast paced, but also like you get so much ownership and accountability, and you make what you kind of like, you can make your
Mhm.
own like experience in a way in a startup. So I was like, this is what I want to do. So when I graduated the next year, I was like, I'm going to apply for startups. And I know as someone who requires visa sponsorship in the UK, everyone was telling me like, oh, startups don't sponsor. You should go after like XYZ companies. And I'm like, I'm still going to take the leap. So the previous company as well as the current one, I've been the first full-time hire and the only full-time marketing hire. Yeah, even for Jelly now, I'm the only full-time hire.
Okay, and what does that feel like in terms of the responsibility of being like, okay, is that a lot of pressure or do you love it?
Some days I hate it,
Okay.
some days I love it. And I think that's because when you're kind of like the first and only full-time hire, you're really not tied to your job title. So if I'm saying I'm the marketing and content manager, I feel more like a founder's associate. And it's not to say that I don't like it, but then it's like you can't expect to do content and marketing because that's probably going to be like 2% or 10% of what you do on an everyday basis. So I think that transition can be hard for people who really go in with like a really defined mindset, like I'm going to just do marketing or I'm just going to do content. Like the other day, I was basically helping the founders with like accounting. You wouldn't expect a marketing hire to do that, but here we are. And as I said, it's not that I hate it. Some days I love it, but some days I really pull my hair apart. Like, why did you choose startups?
I mean, it's like one of those traditional graduate programs where they get placements in different departments. It's basically like that, but on steroids in a
Yeah.
startup, really. You just learn a little bit of
You,
everything.
I think it's a really good
And
launch pad for someone who wants to become a founder themselves.
and I'm sure it's how has it influenced like how you run your own, I suppose,
Yeah.
side business as a creator? Like, what have you learned from startup land that you're applying to yourself as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I was recently writing about that on Substack, but I think it's really
Oh,
taught me
amazing.
like discipline and systems. Because when you're like doing it for yourself, you're like, I'll do it tomorrow, or I don't need to really audit my profile, or I don't need to check like my analytics. But when you're in a startup and you realize that you have to report back to someone, even if it's just your founder or your co-founders, you start realizing that how much of like having a good system in place really helps. And I think that's what I started to do. Like I've made sure I have a proper Calendly. I have like a proper like email system. I have a Notion content system, like end to end. Like I had one, but it was more foundational. It was more basic. So now I've kind of like decided to level it up.
And do you think you'll ever go back to creating art?
I still do create art, but I think it's more from
Okay.
like passion perspective. when I really want to switch off from my 9 to 5 and I just want to do something for myself, I will kind of be the artist.
Yeah, I think it's a great release, isn't it? And there's actually a lot of research around how arts and crafts that activates the alpha brainwaves in your brain
Yes.
that like boost creativity and innovation. So you get
Yeah.
like best of both worlds in your case.
When I started my small business, my entire thing was art that comes because I used to create art where people, if they would put it on their desk and they would look at it, their brain would switch off and just be like immersed in finding the patterns of that artwork. And that's exactly what I want to do. So now I kind of create content about art I make, but also art I observe because, yeah, 9 to 5 life, I wish I could
Mm.
just be a full-time artist, but it's in the books.
I know people going down that path as well, and it's not as easy as it looks. It's really not. But yeah. So I want to talk more about like the some of the more interesting skills that you've had to develop as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur in the personal brand side of things, especially when you're dealing with brand partnerships and collabs and like what are some of the things that you've had to actively train yourself on?
Oh, I think quite a few, but I think to be selective, I would say fasting networking. Because if someone told me that every
Mm.
week or every other week I would be at an event, kind of like showing up, talking to people, or even hosting events for a matter of fact, I would just probably laugh because I would be the last person to want to go to an event, leave alone like wanting to approach someone at an event. But I think now it's become so habitual every single week at least one event. I think that networking, it really helps because it kind of feeds back into your entire like personal branding LinkedIn engine, because as much as we say like personal branding is online, it always started offline. I think COVID kind of moved it online and then people now just want to stick to it online, but I think it's super important to have that balance. And secondly, accepting that you will get rejected more than you will get accepted,
Mhm.
because not every cold email you send or every kind of DM you send is going to get a reply. Some people will reply, half of those reply, or maybe majority will be no's. So maybe have lesser hopes that, oh, every shot you're going to shoot is kind of going to fall through. It's probably not.
Yeah.
Just stick with it because someday tables do turn. I've been a witness of it. I have not really given up, kind of like DMing people or reaching out, and tables do turn. They do come back and be like, oh, we couldn't do it at that time. Let's do it now. So never lose hope, I would say.
Mhm. Yeah, and what's it been like building up that resilience? I think something that I experience on my side, like if a really big opportunity is like it's brewing, it's in your
Yeah.
pipeline, but I'm just like, it might not land.
I think if you don't get excited until it hits, that the lack of enthusiasm kind of somewhere reflects in the way you're pitching yourself. And I feel like I'm a very kind of like emoji, 5 exclamation marks, like, hey gal, I'm that person. I cannot write a boring corporate B2B email, even though I work in B2B startups. I feel like if I'm not excited about it, I'm probably like, it's going to get reflected in my message, and that's not the impression that I want someone to have. And answering your first question about resilience, I got rejected over 800 times before I landed my first ever job. So, for a matter of fact, people blocked me because I pitched myself for a job so many times. But I guess that's the kind of opportunity cost when you want to get something and you want to put yourself out there.
You don't ask, you don't get.
That's
That
my
is
motto.
what.
That's my life motto.
And what are some of the ways that truly move the needle for you when you're pitching? Like, what does that first interaction look like? And what closes the deal ultimately?
Yeah. I think on especially on LinkedIn, what I realized was I get so many like connection requests of people like saying like, "Oh, I love your content." I Creators do observe if you actually love their content, if they see you in the comment section. So I would say
Hmm.
support those people that you really want to get in touch with in like in ways that they would appreciate. If they've released a podcast, maybe like go watch that, listen to that podcast, comment, do all of that stuff for free, and then reach out. but don't make it about yourself, make it about them. I think we all love a little ego boost sometimes. So kind of mentioning like, oh, I read this like Substack that you wrote, here's what I loved. I think starting without asking is the best way, and it's always helped me at least build that connection and build that relationship. People are forgetting the world is basically running on relationship building.
And how do you go about maintaining these relationships that you're building?
I think just keeping in touch, like if it's been like 3 months that I haven't spoken to someone, just send them like a hey, how are you? Been a while since we last spoke, thought to check in. If they're posting consistently, just show up in their comment section. I spend 2 to 3 hours every single day engaging with people across social media platforms, and this is outside of my 9 to 5. So if I can do it, given that I'm one person, one woman army at a startup, I think anyone can find time. And I'm not saying you have to commit 3 hours. So start with maybe 30 minutes. Just go after what you really want to get because everyone can have excuses at the end of the day.
Mm. The experience of being a LinkedIn influencer, like, how is it different or similar to being an influencer on a platform like TikTok or Instagram?
I think on LinkedIn, it's heavily reliant on thought leadership. And when I say thought leadership, I don't mean that you have to be educated to a certain like level of degree or have a certain job or like be a founder, but thought leadership in a way that you share your story, you build in public, and you are authentic. People don't want to know every single aspect of your life, but whatever you are sharing, they want to make sure and they want to perceive it in a way that feels like, okay, this is so you. Like if I meet you in person, I won't feel very indifferent than what I'm consuming online. As compared to Instagram and TikTok, it's more like you have to, you can do polls, you can do, again, it's what you make of it. And because it's such a new platform, not everyone is explored. People still see it as a very B2B corporate platform. There's a lot of room for like learning. It's a very forgiving platform, if that was a TLDR way to put it.
Yeah. And what would you say to those people who are still scared of LinkedIn? Like, what's the tiny step that they can do to get involved?
I think just honestly pick up like your phone, open the LinkedIn app, and just write one post. I think once you press publish and once you put it out there, honestly, there's no going back because I think that's the hardest step for me as well. Personally, I think it was when I posted first, I sent it to like all of my friends and my family, like, please like this post. But we all feel the same way. And sometimes I also don't feel like posting, but the more you step away from it, the more it's gonna like eat you up.
100%. You just got to try.
Yeah.
I heard a really cool quote once. It was the world's strongest man had his first day in the gym. Everyone's got
Yeah.
to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Every
And on this journey of you being a creator, like what have been some of your favorite standout moments that you're proud of?
I think it has to be kind of like, firstly, getting like building such a like kind of like a big community, I would say. It's like over 27,000 people. If I imagine like 27,000 people in a room, I think I would just spiral, shut my laptop, and run away. But I think that's the biggest thing. But also the opportunities that have come my way. As I said, I wouldn't have had my current job, my previous job, any of the freelancing opportunities I've done till now. It's all been because of my LinkedIn. And I've built so many brilliant, wonderful friendships off the platform as well. So I think, yeah, half my life credit now has to go to the platform.
Okay, and has anything unexpected come out of you being a LinkedIn influencer?
100%. I would say, firstly, there are a lot of copycats out there. Just want to say that. People love copying your branding, your headline, your ideas, basically everything. And yeah, there's not much you can do about it. But secondly, I think once you start putting yourself out there, you really kind of go into the trap of comparison, especially for me. It's like, oh, if someone else's post on a similar topic is going viral, why is mine not? Why is my kind of like ad not doing well enough? Or am I going to have to stop my LinkedIn journey because of XYZ reasons? I think the comparison it just keeps extending. So I think, but I think it's also not a very like just a LinkedIn thing. It's a very social media thing.
And so, in terms of how you structure your business as a creator, you freelance occasionally, you have partnerships occasionally. I see, like, what are those ways of earning money, or I guess clout, that you, those wings that you focus on within you as a creator business?
I think, yeah, with freelancing, it's kind of like on a pause right now. It's not much just because I
Mhm.
don't have the time and bandwidth, but mostly it's just creator partnerships, so brand partnerships. How I streamline it, I think it just kind of became its own engine because I posted so much, thrice a week, every single week, nonstop. Brands noticed it, they reached out to me. I posted brand partnerships for a certain brand. More brands saw those partnerships, they saw it performing well, and then they reached out to me. So I feel like now it's
Yeah.
kind of a lot of it is inbound. I do still do a bit of outbound if I feel like I really, really want to go after this brand. I think that inbound content engine, I think I'm very kind of lucky and grateful that it's built itself. But I would say it all comes down to consistency because I've put myself out there so much, I've really made it hard for people to like get me off their like LinkedIn Explore page.
The content you post is amazing, so
Oh, what?
we don't want you off of our feed.
Appreciate
And do
it.
you ever turn down partnerships as well?
Yes, a lot of times. I know people would think like, oh, I'm just another influencer and creator saying it, but if I feel like there's no value for my community, if I'm never going to use it, I really wouldn't do it. Secondly, I think it's
Yeah.
no point me promoting competitor brands in a very close span of time. I won't say that I haven't
Mhm.
promoted brands that compete with each other in the same space, but I wouldn't do it super, super close to the timeline of each other.
It's fair. Yeah, I think you do see creators do that, and it does kind of give you the ick a little bit of just like, you literally promoted like that other last
Yeah,
week. Like, what are we doing here?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the only way that would maybe work is if you are like on YouTube, those people who review like cameras, like that kind of a thing. Like their whole thing is just reviewing different products and brands like
Yeah.
back to back. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. Speaking of like types of content, what are some of the cool trends that you're seeing and you're excited to look out for at the moment within the personal branding creator space?
Think I'm kind of seeing a shift right now because carousels were really, really kind of like the LinkedIn thing. But now kind of seeing it become the Instagram thing. So we're seeing more carousels on Instagram. And as much as reels were kind of blowing up, I'm seeing more people want to embrace videos on LinkedIn, including myself. So I feel like that's the kind of like cross-pollination of content that I'm seeing. But also, I'm seeing people really, really kind of deep diver into storytelling. I think people have now realized that there's no way getting out of it, like building a personal brand, but then getting out of it without telling the personal behind the personal brand. I think I've always said this. Put the personal in the personal brand. I don't mean you have to cross a line or a boundary that feels uncomfortable, but share your story. I think I'm seeing more of the stories and I'm loving it. And also, I'm seeing more people create content that are like bingeable series. It's like a Netflix show. You're gonna come back for the episodes.
Mm.
People are embracing that as well because we want to give people a reason to come back for our content.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love those kind of sort of build with me
Yep.
personal brand founders as well. Like they take screenshots of like their Shopify that day or just them on like the factory floor. I think it's
Yeah.
really cool because you want to, I think as humans, we do want to support, we're rooting for
Yeah.
you. Like we want to
100%.
root for you,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly. Yeah.
What are some of the trends you don't like at the moment in the personal branding space?
Think people kind of just rooting for AI in a way that just feels so inauthentic. Yes, AI, I'm all for AI in a way that really makes your work efficient. I'm not for AI that's really going to replace humans and replace creativity. And I think one aspect of AI that I absolutely hate and despise is AI comments. I think those people just need to get off my posts because
Yeah.
I cannot with them anymore.
And no, it just sounds so robotic and like, ugh. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
that's my
so
reaction
with
every
you.
time I read them.
Yeah, I think my other like LinkedIn pet peeve is when it's so cheesy and cringe in my opinion. It's when someone be like, I got married over the weekend and here's what it taught me
God.
about B2B sales. And it's like,
I,
what are we doing?
I just hate that. But I also hate the fact when people say like, I'm 18 and I just made six figures. Like, I just have so much to say, but I'm just gonna like shut my mouth.
Yeah, so I hear it. Because it's like, well, do you also have like really rich parents?
Who knows?
Let's start there.
Yeah.
But what is next for you in this next chapter of being a creator or your career? What are you excited about?
I think I've just started writing on Substack. It's been a few weeks. I think been about 4 to 6
Yay!
weeks. So I think I'm really excited to kind of venture into that space, but also getting more and more consistent with my Instagram. It's a bit more of the creative side of me. So I want to see how I can, if I can actually leverage some of my LinkedIn audience because everyone loves a bit of creativity. They love aesthetic. So why not build it kind of on the side and in parallel?
Mhm.
Think that's where my kind of creator head is. So I'm just gonna stick to those three right now.
No, that's fair. And what's your Substack about and what's it called?
It's called Get Things Moving. So I basically write from the perspective of being a startup marketer, but also more specifically, a lot of the times the only and the first full-time marketing hire.
That's a really cool niche actually, because there are a lot of yous in the
Yeah.
world. And so give
Yeah.
give them a voice and a platform.
I'm giving them everything I basically wish someone had told me because I think I was just thrown into the world of being the only
Yeah.
market hire, and I was like, okay, now what? So yeah,
Yeah. Have you seen the Chief of Staff Substack?
I'm going to look at it.
It's probably one to check out. She's built a really cool community around her Substack, which is
Oh,
just catering to chief of staffs, basically. And like
yeah.
she's
Oh
got a paid
no.
community
Um,
now, and it's a whole thing.
Hope you're enjoying the show. Would love to hear what you're thinking. Drop a comment and share your thoughts. Even better, if you're loving the show, take 2 seconds to rate us 5 stars wherever you get your podcast. It really helps other people find us. And if you want to be a guest, details in the show notes on how to sign up. Now, let's jump back in.
Thank you for taking us through your career journey. Now we're gonna transition into stuff that's fun, stuff that makes you happy,
yeah.
brings you joy.
Why
And so
not?
I always like to start this section off with music. Like, do you have an ultimate hype song that just like gets you ready and going for the day?
I think I was just listening to it literally before I logged on to record this, but it's Messy by Lola Young. I think it's just me and kind of like
Great song.
a song.
Yeah, great song. And then, do you have any personal policies that keep you like grounded and just chill? Like, this is my boundary.
Yeah. I think one that I'm doing recently is I don't do any work, whether it's 9 to 5 or whether it's my personal kind of creator hustle on a Saturday. Saturdays are for me. Saturdays kind of have to be like a just me day.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah. And how would you describe your personal style? Do you have a style like uniform, brands that you love?
I think when my friends kind of listen to this, they're probably just gonna mock me. But if that's me, that has to be one piece of black clothing or one kind of like either black
Okay.
bag or like a black shoe. I just feel like black is my like uniform. If I could do an all black outfit all year round, I would do it.
Fair enough. I mean, black comes in linen, cotton,
So
wool. Do you have any brands that you look to as well, where you're like always checking back?
I think I'm definitely more like of an athleisure person. So I love my
Mm,
Gymshark, Able, also Sisters and Seekers. I recently got one of their
yeah,
hoodies and yeah, quite like it.
actually, it always pops up on my Instagram, and I'm like, oh, that's nice. But
Yeah.
Very cool. And when it comes to beauty, are there any hero beauty products that you want to shout out from your routine?
I think it definitely has to be hair syrup. I love their Rapunzel, their Rosemary. There's that literally the whole collection. Absolutely love it. If anyone needs a bit of hair care TLC, but they're your brand. The other one is particularly for like summers. Have you seen those like ice scalp sticks? But this one comes in like the shape of a gua sha. It's by this small business called Sunnyside Skins. You just literally fill it up, put it in the freezer overnight, and in the morning it's going to be like an ice but in a gua sha shape, so it's really good to kind of like deep off your face and just, yeah, just wake you up.
That's really clever, actually.
It is.
And I'm actually so jealous of people who get into like their beauty routines. I've realized I just like I don't have the patience for it.
I
Like,
have a skincare routine, so that's literally the only thing I can rely on in summer to wake me up, because I can't be asked to start there doing a 5 step routine. Not for me.
yeah, that's fair. But yeah, the gua sha thing does look really relaxing and it does work. Like I see the before and afters. I'm like, maybe I should go back going. But oh, right. And now let's talk tech.
Yes.
So you I was having a look through your LinkedIn earlier before
Yeah.
this. Like, you are an ambassador of so many things. Like, first, let's start there. Like, who are
Yeah.
you an ambassador for? And, like, why do you nominate yourself for these ambassador programs?
Two of my current favorite ones that I want to spotlight firstly, of course, is Notion, because it's Notion. Like, I have been living, loving, breathing on Notion since like the longest time I can remember. Every startup business I've joined, and any person I've met and they're not on Notion, I've built the Notion for them, custom end to end. But the other one is Social Day. So Social Day is basically a community for social media marketers and professionals, and it's all things, articles, trends. It's like an all-in-one platform. I've been to a lot of their events. They kind of hold their flagship event in summer, which is like the big social media fest. So I think naturally, given how much I breathe, consume, create media, it just felt such a natural alignment.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And now let's talk about your tech stack. Like, what are the tech tools you're using apart from Notion and the social day community to kind of get your work done, really, your work and your content?
I basically use Vita and CapCut as my editing tools. And then there's this new tool that the two new tools for carousels, especially on Instagram. It's 17V, so versus 28, and carousel, but without so it's carousel spelled CRSEL.
Oh,
And they are
okay.
basically the go-to apps for like your aesthetic carousels that you see on your explore page on Instagram. But yeah, I'm looking into Veed for video editing. I think that's one that I want to kind of like shift into. But yeah, I think those are my main ones.
And you're a Calendly babe as well. Use
I
that.
I am now switching to Notion, Ashley,
Oh,
because I was
oh,
tired of
okay.
Google Calendar. I was like, I cannot do this. I need one calendar. So I switched to Notion Calendar, and now I love that it gives me updates literally every time I have a meeting or like I have to post on LinkedIn. It has everything.
Yeah, no, it's pretty decent. Like Notion's like a
Yeah.
meeting scheduler from
Yeah.
Notion. I think I kept my Calendly because I need the payment checkout specifically
Um,
for consulting,
yeah.
and I really like the buffer features that it has. So, for example, with this podcast, it only books like maximum 3 in a month and like 1 per week.
Yeah.
Because before, sometimes I'd have like maybe twice a day by accident if that's just what people had booked. And I was like, oh no, this can't work.
But another one I think might be helpful for marketers, freelance creators who are wanting to build like a mini portfolio. It's like a link tree, but a more aesthetic link tree. It's called Julep, Julip. That's where I kind of have like my link in bio. Yeah, it is worth it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And how about some of your favorite business resources, things that you feel like make you a better business person? Could be podcasts, newsletters, books, anything you want to shout out.
Newsletter, I would say definitely Pretty Little Marketer. I think I'm part of like the community membership, and every day you get like a newsletter roundup. So that is literally my kind of go-to. But otherwise, one thing that keeps me sane is the productivity method planner. I don't think I would be able to like kind of survive. I think the way it's kind of like built, so it has like quick takes like 5 minutes, then it has like 5 to 30 minute tasks, and then it has like longer projects for like over 30 minutes. And I use these only for my like creator side hustle thing. So it just makes my life so organized. So I would say that.
All of your recommendations will be in your Coffee and Oysters profile page and
Yes.
linked in the show notes.
Oh, hey again. Did you know there are roughly 100,000 London business babes out there? And we're on a mission to reach as many as possible. Enjoying what you hear? To support the hours of work that goes into making this special, you can either A, consider supporting directly as a paid monthly Substack subscriber to also unlock future exclusive content for less than a coffee and a croissant. B, any brands listening, we'd love to explore ways for you to be part of the journey. C, at the very least, on your next co-working date, tell a fellow London business babe about us. Details in the show notes. Now let's jump back in.
And so now we're going to talk about London. So you moved to London how long ago now?
Coming up to 5 years.
Okay. And where did you move from?
I moved from Delhi, India, so it was a more of an international move. I've been in London ever since I moved to the UK.
Okay. How was that adjusting to a new city?
I think it was hard, especially because I was also adjusting to a new education system, but I think it's only been upward since then.
Fair enough. Then where are you now in London?
Right now, I'm based in Notting Hill.
Oh, great area.
Yeah.
There is also a really great boutique in Notting Hill
There are
called
multiple.
Apple. Yeah. The one that I always kind of make sure that I go into when I'm around there is called Apple Tree Boutique. I don't know, they just have like really nice,
I need to check them out
yeah,
now.
cute stuff. But anyways, I digress. Since do you still feel like a tourist, or like do you fully feel like you are a Londoner now?
I mean, I don't think I've ever taken a picture in front of the Big Ben. So I would
Fair enough.
say
Definitely
I
not a
am a
tourist.
Londoner. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything on your London bucket list?
I actually, being a Londoner, I haven't been to Hampstead yet, and I really want to go to Hampstead. Like have like a little, either like a summer day or like a fall day there. I think that's on my list. Yeah.
There's like a ladies' pond as well. I've never been to it, but I hear it's good.
I'll report back
Amazing.
then.
Also, what are some of your favorite spots to eat around the city? Are you much of a
Well,
foodie?
I'm very much of like a cafe hopping person, but then at the same
Oh,
time,
okay.
I love a good food market. So I'm talking like the
Ah,
Portobello food market or the Camden food market, my absolute favorite. I'm more of like a cafe girl. So if anyone needs recommendations, I can be that person.
yeah, I mean, what are some of your cafe recommendations?
So I love Watch House. Fabrique in Chelsea on King's Road is the one to go to.
I've been there actually. It's great.
Yeah. Kuro Bakery in Notting Hill, and then right beside that they have Kuro Bagels, so it's a plus. And then the other one, my summer favorite is Boxcar. You can't go wrong with iced coffee, cinnamon bun on a sunny London day.
Okay. And are you part of any like IRL member spaces or even virtual like London networking groups that people should know about?
I'm not part of any IRL spaces just because I need to lock in by myself, work from home
Fair.
person. But I would say, like I mentioned, Pretty Little Marketer, brilliant community. There's Grad Goal Marketing. They also host events. And again, Social Day. I think it's very much, they're all very marketing focused, but really great communities.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely list them for people to explore later.
Don't worry if it's a lot to take in. All of the amazing tools, spots, and recommendations mentioned by our guests can be found in the Coffee and Oysters guide. Details in the show notes.
So thank you again for providing all of your recommendations. This has been such a cool episode, and we always like to round it off by celebrating ourselves, but also other people on the scene. And so for yourself, what is a recent win that you are proud of?
I think it has to be being an ocean ambassador.
Yeah.
100%. This,
I'll make sure to post this in the Slack after so when it's launched. I'm like, guys, sponsor us. Amazing. Yeah, no, that was a very cool achievement. I was very excited to see your name pop up in the announcements. And here is someone else, another London business babe that you are proud of as well.
oh, it has to be one of kind of like my ex-colleague. She was actually a creative consultant at the startup I work with right now, Jelly. We're good friends now, and she actually started her own podcast called Out of Print, and it's with two of her friends. And
Okay.
yeah, I think I love it for her.
Okay. What's it about? Out of print. It sounds like media,
It is.
newspaper vibes.
They all studied, I think, English in like their respective degrees. So it's very much kind of like culture and a lot of media, but I think it's a lot of kind of like fun takes and twists on like different cultural topics and trends in the industry. I think once people hear it, they would kind of like know their vibe. It's very hard to describe. So I will keep it a suspense.
Okay. Gotcha. Very cool. And then, is there anything that you need to plug? And is there anything that you need help with as well? Never know who's listening.
I think I would just plug my Substack. It's called Get Things Moving. And in terms of help, no, I mean, I'm more than happy and open to feedback on content across platforms. So if anyone has any ideas for me, any suggestions, please hit me up. Hit my DMs.
Okay. And then lastly, since you are the queen of collabs, do you have a dream collab that you are manifesting?
I think no one should have to guess this. It has to be an ocean partnership on LinkedIn.
Okay. Right. And the team will be watching this afterwards. I think, like, what else do they need at this point? So-
Take your time.
Okay. Well, we are manifesting that. And thank you so much for coming in today. This has been so much fun. Let's say, but where can
No, thank you so much for having me. This was honestly so much fun. Bye.
yeah, and so people can obviously find you on LinkedIn and your Substack and your Instagram, it sounds like. And yeah, we
The
will link.
Instagram is a bit a different one, but I'm sure you will link it.
Yeah, we'll link all of that in the show notes. But fabulous, and thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening. Get in touch at coffeeandoysters@gmail.com. Stay connected at Coffee and Oysters Pod on TikTok and Instagram. And never miss out by subscribing to Substack. Details in the show notes. And most importantly, keep those 5-star ratings coming, and see you next time.